coming up next on Hands on Windows, we're going to look at another third-party utility, a free tool that can help you prevent Windows and actually other Microsoft software and services from spying on you all the time.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hands on Windows. I'm Paul Thurrott. A few episodes back, we looked at a couple of utilities, kind of de-insurtification utilities, if you will, things that you can use to prevent some of the annoyances and the privacy invasions in Windows 11 especially. OFGB, right? OFric Go Back, which is a great name. That was the little tiny app, the little WPF app. That was the fun one. And then WinToys, which is a more complex and professional application with a lot more functionality. This week, I wanted to look at a third utility. There's a lot of overlap here, to be clear. But the interesting thing about this one is that it works with products and services that are not Windows, like Office, for example, and has some Microsoft Edge specific stuff. So we'll take a look at that. I've already downloaded this, although I guess I could. Let me see if I can find this here. It's O&O Software is the. Let's see if this comes up. Nope, I got to type it in. All right. So, and then ShutUp10 should go to it. Yeah, so this is the website, so you can download it. I've already downloaded it. This is kind of an interesting app in the sense that it doesn't, when you run this exe that you download, it doesn't install somewhere, it just runs there. So you might not want it in your downloads folder because like those other utilities, you are going to want to run this from time to time, especially after you update Windows, right? So at least once a month, it's not a bad idea to run this thing again. And actually, this has some advantages over the other ones in that regard, which we will get to, which is one of the reasons we're looking at it now. So I will just run it as if for the first time. And it comes up here. Okay. And then you'll see here, there's a little CFG file here, and that's what I'm talking about. You don't really necessarily want that in your downloads folder. I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes. So what we have here is a tabbed interface, current user and local machine. This is, if you're familiar with the registry, is mapping to the way that Microsoft orients their settings in the registry. If you are on the current user tab, the changes that you make, if any, will apply to the current user, right? It's pretty straightforward. But if you go to the local machine, it will apply to all users. So now or in the future, if you create a new user account in 2 weeks and you sign in for the first time, this will all be plastered into that account as well. So you can go either way. That's up to you. One of the things I kind of like about this app is they have recommendations, right? So you can see these green, yellow, and red yes, limited, no notations off to the side. The idea here is that for the most part, they recommend doing the ones that they say yes to, right? So you could kind of go through this list and you'd really want to read this, unfortunately. I wouldn't be super trusting here. Well, I made the mistake earlier on a different computer to say, apply the recommended and somewhat recommended settings across the board. And what happened was I kept getting location dialogues. You know, this app cannot access your location because it's not one of the yes options, but it's one of the somewhat recommended limited options. Was to turn off location, right? And actually location is one of the things I would leave on. In fact, I recommend leaving that one on. So like with other apps, for the most part, other apps like this, you're going to want to actually spend the time to go through and really look at these things. It's possible that the ones that are green, well, these are just on, sorry. The ones that are green over here are probably okay, right? If you look through this list, disable suggestions in the timeline, which doesn't exist in Windows 11 anyway. That's a Windows 10 feature. Disable suggestions and start. Yep, would want to turn that off. Disable tips, tricks, and suggestions when using Windows. Absolutely. So you kind of go down the list, and yeah, I think most of these are okay. But they have these little divisions of topics, right? So you have Microsoft Edge options, which they have a bunch. Disable the sidebar, disable the shopping assistant. So if you're looking for a more minimal version of Edge, not a bad idea. Of course, Edge updates every 4 weeks, so it's possible that installing a new version of this will trigger those features to come back, which means you might have to come back here and rerun this again. Although, again, we'll talk about that in a moment. Office, right? This one was of particular interest to me because I have an issue where I don't use the OneDrive folder backup feature. And when you use Microsoft Word or Excel and you don't save to OneDrive, it bothers you with little ads. Hey, you should turn this on. Don't you want this thing protected? So I've done this on a few computers, praying that it would work. Unfortunately, I'm not even in the Office section. Unfortunately, it does not. So no matter what I did here in the Office section, I wasn't able to stop that behavior. So it's not perfect. Of course, nothing is, but still interesting. And it probably does, or definitely does, disable other things that you may find annoying in there. So Windows Sync settings, interesting. Cortana is actually on the way out Windows 11 anyway. Disable Copilot. I could see some people wanting to do that. Some interesting Windows Explorer choices too, right? There's a lot of stuff here. So this is absolutely worth doing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply the recommended settings. And this is kind of interesting. They recommend creating a system restore point. Now, this is a topic I'm probably going to be adding to the Windows 11 field guide. And I was thinking about doing an episode for Hands on Windows about this as well. A restore point is a legacy, I'm going to call it a reliability feature. It is not enabled by default anymore. It's still in this kind of legacy UI. You could go into this system and manually create a restore point. If you had restore points, and I don't, but I could turn this on, put aside some space, et cetera, for restore points. Actually, that was on already because I was playing with this. But normally this would be off. And what this allows you to do is roll back from a change that impacted the system in a negative way and just put it back the way it was, right? So if you're familiar with virtual machines, we have a similar capability with checkpoints. System restore points work like that. It lets you roll back the system to what it was before. It's a smart thing to do here. Even if you don't typically use restore points, you should let it do this, because if it makes a change that you don't like, this app does have a way to roll it back, but you're not sure it's going to work. It's kind of neat to be able to use the restore point, which is a system feature, and make sure that it happens. So I will create a restore point. I just think it's prudent. That takes a second. Play the Jeopardy theme song while it does this. There we go. All right. So it's made 111 setting changes, which is rather incredible. And actually, I told you about that location thing. And it's off. It's on another screen. You can't see it, but location has been turned off. And that's not something I want. So it's not just the recommended and somewhat recommended settings. So you may be better off not just trusting this thing to have your best interests at heart. It might be better to go through this entire list. The reason I like this thing, aside from the fact that there's some Office and Edge stuff and some other stuff, is that you can export these settings. So when you find a set of settings changes that you like, you can export it, save it as a file, and then apply that to other PCs, right? So this is a neat way to replicate these settings across computers. Like other solutions like this, you can run this thing, like I said, after an update, it will check. And if it sees anything that needs to be changed, it will actually just do it for you. So it's kind of nice. You can also just undo all your changes, right? And go back to the factory settings. I'll leave that alone for now. I like my computer not to work. So this is another option. I think compared to the last two we looked at, I think this is most comparable to WinToys. It's kind of a non-standard UI. WinToys looks more like a native Windows app. It's got that kind of nice thing, but I really like some of the functionality in here. It's just that there are so many options, and it is on you, unfortunately, to kind of go through these, maybe experiment a little bit, make some changes, see what it looks like. If you play with some of the Windows Explorer changes, for example, you could go and look at it and see what it did. And if you don't like it, roll it back and finally get to where you want, and then export that thing, right? And then you'll have, that configuration that you want. That's good for you. So it's a good option. Anyway, so I will turn that off. Yes. And then it gives you this message that some of these settings are, because it's really making changes in the registry, won't be applied to your computer until you sign on again. So you have to reset it. You could just probably log out, honestly, unless you did the local machine option. But either way, restart Windows, log out, log in, and you'll get the full effect of all the changes. Okay. So I hope you found this useful. We'll be back every Thursday with a new episode. You can learn more at twit.tv/handsonwindows. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, especially as always, to our Club TWiT members. We love you so much. And I will see you again next week.